Hi, Unbeatable Recapped here. Today, I am going to explain a suspense thriller movie named Play Dead. Let's get started. We see a girl named Chloe at the start of the story who got a notice from a bank because they haven't paid their house loan means they didn't return the amount they took for building their house. That's why the bank wants to set their house on auction. Chloe's mom was no more and her father also died in an accident a few days ago, but the bank didn't give them the amount while blaming that he has ended himself willingly. They weren't giving them the insurance amount. Chloe was in a bad condition, even she has no money to pay college fees. She calls in the bank and tries to convince them, but none was ready to hear her. Chloe then calls her brother. She asks him to meet her. Chloe's brother and his friend Ross is shown worried because of money, so they think of a robbery in a shop and they also have a fake gun. When Ross was moving inside the shop, a man moves out of the shop and shoots at Ross. Due to it, he falls there. Chloe's brother gets sacred and escapes from there. Her brother comes home and tells his sister everything and says, "I escaped from a huge trouble." Chloe bandages her brother's wounds and asks, "How did all this happen?" He says, "Your friend Ross has died. We went to a ship for a robbery," and Chloe gets surprised to hear this. She says, "What? Ross? Is he dead?" Her brother says, "Nothing was easy for me and I am stuck in a huge trouble." He says, "I believe that you will make everything fine," but she says, "Let me think." She asks, "Where is the car on which you went for the robbery?" And he replies, "I have burnt that car. Only one thing can save me, and that is Ross's mobile on which we have planned for the robbery." On another side, the police arrived at the crime scene and they sent Ross's body to the morgue. Chloe says, "What? Did you plan a robbery on a phone? You know you are of what age? Just 25 years. What if the police will find you through the phone? They will capture and take you away. Let me think something," and makes a plan to find that phone that was in morgue because the police sent all evidence there. Chloe was a medical student and knows everything before and tells her brother, firstly, Ross's dead body will be placed in a box in the morgue. Later, they will place all evidence found with him in a place. As the morning appears, after the medical checkup, his dead body and evidence will be handed over to the police. We have this night and we have to do something. They try to go to that morgue's building but they couldn't. Meanwhile, Chloe's brother remembers a lady from whom he used to buy drugs who works in a clinic. They buy a drug from her, a drug with which the body gets cold and also slower the heartbeat. It seems the human is dead and Chloe says to her brother, "I will inject this drug's injection. After a while, my body will become cold and my heartbeat will also stop for a short time. Do call the police after a while and tell them that you found a dead body on the road. Later, they will send me to the morgue for my medical checkup, so that they can find out my death's reason. After it, I will return home easily while taking all the evidence." Chloe was doing all this to save her brother. She injects the drug and then she wakes up in the morgue. It was happening the same they thought. She comes to her senses and sees there was only a white cloth on her body and there was a name tag on her feet. Chloe was still unconscious and couldn't control herself. She sees many dead bodies were brought in the morgue. She peeps through the door that a man was walking to her. He was a doctor named Coroner who used to do medical checkups of dead bodies and do wrong acts here. Coroner comes to the room where Chloe was and she gets scared and lay down on her bed again. She puts the cloth on her face as she was scared because she was afraid of being caught. Anyhow, Coroner takes a dead body from there on a stretcher. Chloe comes out of the room. As he leaves, she sees around and finds a girl's dead body in a room that was in a weird condition. She gets scared to see her, but then she takes clothes from there and wears them. Meanwhile, Coroner comes out of the room. He hears a bell ringing from outside and opens the door from the control room. There was a man who came to meet Coroner and says, "Don't you feel scared in this morgue? How do you stay alone here?" Then he says, "I need a liver," and Chloe was also hearing all this. She discovers that man has come here to buy human organs from Coroner. He leaves after telling this to Coroner. Coroner closed all the doors when he left. Chloe also reaches the room where her friend Ross's dead body was placed. She starts weeping while seeing his dead body. Coroner has taken out his liver but he was still alive and Chloe was surprised to see this and says to Ross, "Don't worry, I will take you out from here. Don't make a noise so that none will discover about us." Coroner was about to take out human organs from a dead body in another room. He used to sell them, and in return, he got a heavy amount. He places his watch, keys and ring aside before operating. The cutter coroner had, through which he cut the dead body to take our organs, has a loud voice. Chloe takes advantage of it and escapes while taking the keys. She comes to the main gate along with Ross. Coroner becomes free from his job and starts finding the keys, but he couldn't find it. Then he sees Chloe and Ross in the camera and hurriedly moves to them with poisonous gas. Ross also had lost courage and says to Chloe, "Look, I can't walk anymore. I know I will not be saved, so leave alone from here." But then coroner arrives and makes them faint with the poisonous gas. Chloe finds herself tied to the bed when she comes to her senses. Ross was also with her but was still unconscious. Coroner was also there. Chloe says, "Please let us leave," but he says, "Girl, what did you think? You will come here and will save your friend. This can't happen. You people do robberies and it is common for you to tease people. Alive you are useless to me, but yes, you will be of millions after death. I will sell all your organs and in return, I will get a heavy amount. Then your organs will be used by the people who have the right to stay alive." Coroner places a cut on Ross's body in front of Chloe and after it, tries to take out his liver. After a long time, he has taken out his liver while putting his hand inside, puts it in a bag and keeps it in a cooler. Chloe panics seeing all this. She tries to release herself when coroner left. She has cut her hands belts with the cutter placed there. The cutter made a loud voice that also coroner listens. When he comes hurriedly to see, Chloe wasn't there because she hides there. He finds Chloe along with a knife. Chloe finds a liquid nitrogen gas cylinder and taking it she goes to the room where the evidence were. She moves inside while breaking its lock and also finds the box having all things that belong to Ross. Meanwhile, coroner arrives but seeing him Chloe hides there and he finds Ross's phone in that box. Meanwhile, Chloe comes in front of him. She points a gun at coroner and asks for the phone but he says this isn't a genuine gun, so don't frighten me with it. We can't leave a real gun like this, neither it is fake nor it hasn't a bullet. But then Chloe shoots his eye. It was fake and after it, she runs from there. Coroner was also behind her and he goes to Ross's dead body, then he moves his phone near his face and his phone unlocks. Chloe also reaches the basement while running and sees many patients. They were alive but a few of their body organs were missing. Coroner kept them alive because he sell their body organs. Chloe hears coroner's voice in the mic who was saying, "Now I understand you come here to escape your brother. I have seen the video. Now none can save your brother." Hearing this, she moves to coroner's office and calls her brother and says, "Maybe I will not escape from here, but take care of yourself." Coroner arrives after a while. His dog was also with him. Chloe's brother reaches the police hearing all this from Chloe. Coroner's dog was behind Chloe. Coroner has sent it behind her. Chloe tries to escape and throws Ross's liver in a room. Chloe shuts the door when the dog moves behind it. She also sees in cameras that her brother came with a police officer to save her. Later, she hurriedly opens the main gate and tells the officer about coroner. He says, "I already doubt that man. I knew that man do something wrong here," but saying this he starts beating Chloe and her brother because the officer was also with coroner. Chloe here scares the police officer while showing the fake gun. Meanwhile, coroner's voice is heard through the mic saying, "This gun is fake, but do say them anything, I want them alive." But Chloe and her brother ran from the back door. The police officer also sent coroner's dog behind them. Chloe and her brother hid in the basement. They close the gate from inside but the police officer also reaches there and understands while seeing the dog near the door that they are inside the basement, so he locked the door with the handcuffs. Meanwhile, the man arrives who asked coroner for a liver but coroner says, "Your task isn't done yet. It will take 1 hour." But that man sees the police car and understands that the police is also with coroner. Suddenly, the police officer shoots him from behind because the officer doesn't want anyone to know that police is also with coroner. On the other hand, Chloe and her brother move again to the evidence room through the basement. They see coroner and the police officer talking that they will blame Chloe and her brother for the man ended by the officer. Here, Chloe and her brother take that man again to the basement. He wasn't dead but was unconscious. Coroner has seen them while moving there. They take that man to the place where coroner kept other patients. Meanwhile, The officer arrives and leaves the poisonous gas there, but Chloe makes her brother and that man wear masks. She says, "Go out from here and I will dodge them and come out soon." Chloe's brother says to the man who is still alive that I will save your life, but in return, you have to pay me, and that man agrees. When he was taking him and was about to attack the police officer further, then coroner comes from behind and faints Chloe's brother while giving him an electric shock. Chloe's condition was also worse because of the gas. Then she finds an oxygen cylinder and puts a hammer hard on it. It hits the police officer's face and this causes his death. Coroner also panics because of his death. That's why he shoots all the patients there and drags Chloe's brother with him, because he needs a liver and he was about to take out the liver of Chloe's brother. Coroner was saying, "I had the answers to all deaths except for the police officer." Chloe also wants to save her brother's life, so she reaches the room but doesn't find Coroner because he hides there. Chloe sees her brother and tries to make him come to his senses, but Coroner holds her from behind. Here, Chloe leaves the gas on him to escape from the nearby cylinder, which makes his face frozen. Later, she hits that cylinder on his face that crushes half of his face. Seeing this happening to him, Coroner becomes insane. He takes a huge knife to end Chloe, but then the man saved by Chloe and her brother comes. He ends Coroner while stabbing him with a knife. They three were saved. Chloe's brother says to the man, "I saved your life, so give me the money you promised," but the man says, "I saved your life. You have to donate me a liver if you want money." These siblings need money, so Chloe gives him Coroner's liver. They locked his dog in the building. After it, they come out and that man also transferred money to their account. Chloe says to the man, "You need a doctor?" and he says, "Yes, I am going there and can give you a lift if you want to." They come out safely while sitting in his car, and none was left alive in the building except for Coroner's dog. His dog was eating his dead body. Chloe saved her brother while showing bravery but couldn't save her friend. Here the story of the movie ends.